And now at number 1 for the first quarter of 2026, a movie that hits its emotional beats so well. Most people have come out of this movie with nothing but praise and say it has the best feeling of authentic humanity and hopefulness that we haven't seen in Hollywood in such a long time. Because at number 1 for 2026, we have a movie that is amaze. Project Hail Mary. One of the best crowd pleasers of the year, of the last 3 years at least. That caters to almost every age bracket and demographic in the best wholesome way possible. And also a movie that had a lot of added hype to it because of the people involved behind and in front of the camera. The directors Phil Lord and Chris Miller, who did 21 and 22 Jump Street, one of the funniest comedies of the last decade, and are also a big part of the reason why the Spider-Verse movies are so good. And the screenwriter Drew Goddard and the book writer Andy Weir. The writer-screenwriter duo that brought us The Martian, which is another absolute gem of a movie. Sometimes you can have the best possible people attached to a movie and they put absolutely no effort into it. They don't even care about what they're making. So many times nowadays we have filmmakers that are the absolute best, or we think that they are the absolute best. They are given all the funds in the world and they still come out with absolute sewage. I'm so glad that this movie did not disappoint. With all the hype that was covering it, with all the hype that it had, I'm glad that it was as good as it was. As well as being a story that got me back into the habit of reading. Because I decided to read this book 2 weeks before the movie came out. I read it, I enjoyed it, and I have to say, it is not a bad adaptation at all. When it comes to book and movies, they will have their issues, but honestly, it's as good as it can get. It is a very good adaptation about the most unlikely hero and one of the best brotherhoods and bonds ever put to screen from a book that come together to do what is best for life in the worst of times. And my oh my, are there a lot of things to praise about Project Hail Mary. First, we'll start with Ryan Gosling as Ryland Grace. He was an amazing choice for the lead character. He is just becoming one of the very best actors that we have working right now. If you don't think so, please tell me why in the comments and justify it properly. The man knows how to pick his projects, no pun intended. And he knows how to show his multifaceted skills as an actor. And for the most part, never really disappoints. He normally loves to play the stoic type, which he does very well. But here he's playing a geeky, nerdy type person that is wearing his heart absolutely on his sleeve. This character couldn't hide how he truly felt no matter how hard he tried. And there are so many scenes where he needs to convey a lot of his emotions just by being quiet and by being emotional. And for someone that doesn't like to go crazy for acting, even though I'm doing it right now, there are so many scenes that he absolutely portrays very well. I don't normally like the term perfect casting. There's only this one person in 8 billion that is suited for this singular role. Nobody else! But Ryan Gosling in this movie was one of the handful of actors that gave this role so much more than it was. And also while reading the book, it was nice to have him as the character in my imagination. Or should I say 5% him, 95% me? You know, a genius level problem-solving interstellar traveler that is tasked with saving the world that can make friends easily regardless of galaxy. It was pretty easy for my imagination. And Sandra Hüller, who plays the enigmatic Strat, also very much deserves to be mentioned as the leader of this Project Hail Mary. But I will say her character in the book is definitely a much more no-nonsense type of character that has that no-nonsense aura all over her. Sandra Hüller is great in the movie, but in the books she is a formidable force to be reckoned with, wherein her movie counterpart is much more, let's say, lovable. Trust me, read the book, you'll see how no-nonsense she is. But the main driving force for this movie, the emotional hook, the emotional core of this movie is the bond that forms between Gosling and a rock with tentacle rock for hands called Rocky. That was so much more wholesome than I ever thought it was going to be. I mean, honestly, the way they make you feel for this rock in this movie, it is ridiculous how much they make you feel for this thing. Oh, I can't call him a thing. His name is Rocky. He has a name. It is amazing how much they make you feel for Rocky. You absolutely get the sense that it was fate, destiny that brought them together. The dynamic duo that their worlds needed. The strangest, oddest couple that you'd ever get, but the one we need. And I also like that the alien in this movie is not of super high intelligence. It's very, very smart. Don't get it twisted. But there are aspects to both their intelligence that help solve the problem that needs to be solved. It's not all coming from Rocky, and it's not all coming from Gosling's character. They help solve problems that one of them might not have been able to do on their own. And when the stakes get high, and trust me, they do get very high when worlds are hanging in the balance, the thought of any of them being in any kind of danger absolutely pulled on my heartstrings a bit too tight. All right, that's a bit too much crying. Dial it back, dial it back. More masculine, more masculine. Sit up straight, sit up straight. Don't let that tear fall. Wipe it away. There you go. I love it when a movie fiddles with my emotions like that. And the musical score really suited the movie so well, and it had this orchestral, childish wonderment to it. It reminded me so much of that music video by that band Owl City. If you cannot believe your eyes, 5 million fireflies. Do you remember that song? It's like if someone took that song and tried to make it an uplifting orchestral tune. That's what it sounded like. And I do want to say that this has the same cinematographer as the Dune movies and the Batman. And there are so many scenes in this movie of space that are so meditative. There were a couple of shots that straight up reminded me of 2001: A Space Odyssey. And if a movie is doing that, it is doing something right. But to balance it out, I will say that there are very, very tiny, minuscule negatives that I have. Very tiny. There were certain shots during very important set pieces that I thought were not framed in the best position. Coming from someone that's never done cinematography, I know. There was this very important action scene, I'm talking like the moment of truth action scene, that to me wasn't the most ideal place to put the camera. I thought you could have put the camera a bit further away, or if you're going to show what was going on, maybe not to have too many variables or the light being too dark and too many flashing lights. There was a couple of minutes or two where I couldn't see what was going on. He was trying to do something and swing to a certain area, and I'm like, why is the camera here? Why wasn't the camera put somewhere over here so we can see what was happening? But then again, it doesn't happen all the time. It was just for one scene where I felt it could have been put in a different angle, at a different spot, so we can follow the action scene much better. And there is a trope that I hate in movies, not just in this one, in all movies. I hate anything happening in flashing light. I'm not an epileptic person, but I just hate when directors and filmmakers choose to film something in any kind of flashing light. I just can't stand it. Any scene that has something that happening in flashing lights where it just goes zoom, zoom, zoom. I just don't like that effect. Some people really like it. They think it's effective, but to me, I just don't like it. And this trope happened in this movie during a very pivotal, emotional scene. I'm talking one of the most emotional scenes in this entire movie had this flashing light effect. Every flash of light, the scene would move forward and move forward. I'm like, is there no other way of filming this scene other than this way? I would have much preferred if that scene did not have that type of filmmaking. Not that it's bad filmmaking, it's just a trope that I don't like. This is going to become a classic in the future. It's one of those movies where you can just feel it's going to be a classic. If there are kids watching it now, it's one of those movies that after 20, 25 years, they will talk about how much they loved Project Hail Mary as a kid and how it got better with time. You see, Hollywood, when you make a great movie, they will come. People want well thought out stories with good characters and themes. They want it. They're craving it. This movie proves it. This movie has passed $650 million worldwide. Audience want great movies. So if you just try a little harder, you will succeed. And to give this movie its rating, I will definitely give it a very high, positive, buy it on Blu-ray 4K HDR. And you know what also comes to mind? Phil Lord and Chris Miller were the ones supposed to direct the Han Solo Star Wars movie, but at the last minute they changed their mind because they didn't like their vision and they got Ron Howard in. I am very curious to know how bad or how good was their vision for their Han Solo Star Wars movie, and how good would it have been if they were allowed to make their movie. Because so far, they make absolutely amazing cinema, or at least very engaging cinema that most people like. So I'm very curious to know what would have been their Han Solo Star Wars movie if they were left to their own devices. Would it have been better than the Han Solo movie that we got? Food for thought. And as always, thanks for tuning in. You know what to do. Peace, love, and I'll see you when I see you.